Vanessa here, and welcome to Quantum Within, the podcast where we explore topics of science, reality, healing, and becoming the you who you truly are at your core. This isn't about fixing yourself or becoming somebody different. It's about remembering who you already are, beneath the noise, the patterns, beneath the timeline. Each week, I'll share short, potent episodes drawn from real life, mine, my clients, and maybe even yours. We'll explore emotional loops, identity shifts, time distortion, and inner alignment using the frameworks and teachings from the Kabbalists given over from Rabbi Baton, founder of Love Immunotherapy. This isn't mindset work, this is soul work. This is for the person who knows there's more peace, more power, more presence hidden under the chaos. You don't want more hype. You don't need more information. You want something real and grounded in reality with takeaways that you can implement to help you on your journey. If this speaks to you, follow me on all social media platforms and share with someone else who's on the path. DM me for our WhatsApp link where you can receive content, regular reels, and updates on upcoming events. Welcome to Quantum Within. You're not bound to your past. You're invited to disrupt it. Welcome to Quantum Within. This is episode 2, living from preparation, not preservation. So I don't know about you, but I always viewed time as like a river. It's something that's just flowing forward into the future. But what if time isn't carrying you? What if it's preparing you? So preparing me for what, you might ask, and we're going to come back to that. My life feels like something that I'm moving through. So I don't know about you, but I know like my routine, I get up in the morning and on autopilot, I make my coffee, I read, I may journal or meditate, just do those things that are all scheduled on the clock. And then at a certain time, I'll go exercise or go into work. And it seems like time is something by which we're bound, right? So think about this. If I don't show up to my appointment on time, then it messes up my schedule and I might even financially be penalized. Like literally, I might have to pay a no-show fee. So it seems like time is something that's happening to me. It's not something I can influence. But we're going to find out that, yes, we can. So if time is just something like it's a measured agreement by humans, right? So think about this. I say I'll meet you at 3:00 at this place for coffee. And that's an agreement between you and me. And then we also have time being marked by external symbols like the sun and the moon. They mark time. And the Torah says in Genesis that the sun and the moon are for times and for seasons. And the Hebrew festivals are anchored to these times and seasons. So it seems like there's these fixed markers, but the deeper understanding is this. Time isn't for keeping track. It's for preparing your consciousness to meet the moment, whatever is in that moment. Rabbi Baton once shared with me, time is a measurement of our consciousness. So again, we see time as this linear progression. There's the past, the present, and the future. But from a deeper perspective, it's really about perception and awareness. So stay with me. This is how this idea plays out. When you're deeply present, time seems to slow down or even disappear. Think about like when you're in flow state in a project that you're just so into and excited about working on, or when you're in a really good meditation. And then also when you're distracted or unconscious at the moment, time seems to slip away. So think of how fast a week can pass when you're on autopilot, or when we sleep, we don't have that awareness of time. So this suggests that time isn't fixed. It expands and contracts based on our level of consciousness. So there's many spiritual traditions that say as you elevate your consciousness, time becomes more fluid. There are mystics and sages, and those that have been in deep meditation. They've often reported experiencing a timeless state where the past, present, and future merge into one. This aligns with that idea that time is a construct of the mind. So when the mind is quiet, time dissolves. Now, on the flip side, when we operate at lower states of awareness, when we're caught in survival mode, when we're trying to control, when we're emotionally reactive, or when we resist time, time feels very rigid and controlling. I have a friend, she didn't work a 9 to 5. So she had full open days to accomplish a lot of the things that she was passionate about doing. But she said that time was just like slipping through her fingers. And the more she was trying to control it, the less time she seemed to have. And it was driving her absolutely crazy. With that increased resistance to time, it will increase its resistance to us, which is actually Newton's third law of motion. So for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So think about, if I'm pushing on the wall is pushing back at me. There's that equal and opposite reaction. But if I stop pushing, the wall isn't pushing back on me. So whenever one object exerts a force on another object, okay, that second object exerts an equal force in the opposite direction to the first. And that applies to time. So that's where we can end up seeing time as something that's happening to us rather than something we can participate in. Another few examples, like I remember teaching all day and I was ruled by the bell. I couldn't go to the bathroom unless the schedule allowed. I'd have to eat when this certain bell rang, not when I was hungry. My whole body became trained to ignore itself and to obey the system's time. So that was a time as preparation. That was time as control. And then I even brought that pattern home. And even in the quiet, I still lived by these invisible bells. So on a personal level, your experience of time is shaped by your level of consciousness. On a collective level, humanity measures time in calendars and clocks because in this shared reality, we need that structure to function together. So again, like I was saying earlier, when I interact with you, okay, there's an agreement within time and space to meet at a certain place and time. I was just reading recently, there's a town in a little island up in Norway. I think it's called Samaroy, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Sorry, I don't know if I am. But it's up in the Arctic Circle, and obviously there is, the extended days and extended night periods. So I don't know how organic this was or if it was actually something that was like a tourist slogan, but they, were advertising themselves as time doesn't exist here. And if you feel like mowing your lawn at 2 a.m, go ahead. So that all sounds really great and free and fluid, but then at the same time, again, it interacting together in this shared reality, they still had to schedule time for school, have scheduled hours for the post office, or a specific ferry schedule. So society does, we need clocks to interact with each other, but our souls don't. Okay, so really, what does this mean for us? Remember last episode, if you had listened to it, I mentioned that in the Torah, the Hebrew word for time, ziman, its root means to prepare. So yeah, again, what am I preparing for? It really is all about just who I am becoming. Not becoming someone else, but really getting to the core of who I am, that beingness. As I focus on being and removing those blocks and those layers that cover up who I truly am and my essence, then I see time, or I perceive it as more in that flow state. I'm going with it and not resisting it and not controlling it. And again, yes, we still have scheduled times for things, but maybe we can view these mundane events through this lens of beingness. So if time is a measurement of consciousness, then expanding our awareness allows us to experience time as more fluid and open. Letting go of that control of time and just being within the absolute now. And instead of feeling like time is running from you, you start moving with it and bending or even transcending it when you operate from higher states of presence and awareness. And this could mean shifting from I never have enough time to I create time through my consciousness. How does this idea resonate with you? So, a practical application, which I want to give you every episode. Today, shift one task from obligation to preparation. So just pick something routine. It could be making dinner, it could be folding laundry, preparing for a meeting, and ask yourself, what am I being prepared for in this moment? And do the task with that awareness, not just a chore, but the shaping of who you're becoming, again, of who you already are. And let your consciousness expand as you engage with that. Move slower and breathe deeper and let that moment stretch. And if you enjoy journaling, here's a journal prompt to consider. Where in my life have I been using time to preserve what was instead of preparing for what could be? And notice the patterns. Are they rooted in fear, control, habit? And ask, what would change if I treated this moment as sacred preparation? This is what we explore here on Quantum Within. Not just ideas, but identity shifts. Not just healing from the past, but preparing for the version of you that's already arrived in the quantum. If this resonates, share it with a friend and DM me if you want to join our WhatsApp chat. And let's keep shifting together. Thank you.